And we're live, right?
Yes.
Yes, we are live. This is the first live stream. We want to do live streams regularly and do Medic Mondays live as well as a couple other live streams. It's going to be super exciting. Today is Medic Monday, the first Medic Monday live stream. And if you haven't gone back and watched the two videos we've done with Frontline Medical Defense, a friend of mine, David, who's a paramedic over there at Frontline Medical Defense, you can go purchase all your medkit needs over there. You can also go to direarmory.com. Full disclosure, Frontline Medical Defense packs our medkits for us, and that's the relationship we have. So if you buy from us, you're also buying from them. Good person to support, and if you want to support the channel, obviously, as well as get prepared and just do some of that stuff yourself, take some of your medical training into your own hands. You are your own first responder. So what we went through in those other two videos, you can go check them out, is kind of like backpack kits, home kits, pocket EDC kits. We've got Stop the Bleed kits. We've got Stop the Bleed classes coming. And today I just wanted to go over something pretty brief. This should be a fairly brief video. But what it is EDC med kits on your battle belt. So your IFAK, your Battle Belt IFAK. And I'm kind of, oddly enough, kind of going to be complaining about some of the stuff that's in the market today, including our own IFAK. And we are planning on making some changes. We're kind of developing our own pouches right now that's in the works to kind of fix some of these issues. Simply because I couldn't really find a good solution on the market. So this is my battle belt. This is just what I set up, what I take to the range all the time. We're probably going to do a whole series on battle belts, and kind of like we've got the body armor series, which we're wrapping up tomorrow actually. And I'd like to keep doing series drops. So battle belts is definitely going to be one of those, and we're going to go through each gear and piece of gear and how to lay stuff out. But this one kind of ties together because it's medical, it's Medic Monday, and that's what we're going to do. So basically, pretty much a really standard spot to mount your IFAK is straight in the middle in your back. It's just kind of out of the way because it's obviously a piece of gear on your belt that you're hoping that you don't have to use if everything goes correctly. But it is there and easily accessible if you get it. If you get hit or not even if you get shot, but any type of trauma that might happen to you out on the range or while you're wearing this thing. But because of what it is, being a tactical belt, what you have in here should be able to handle bullet trauma. And I kind of know we talked about in the previous videos, again, go back and watch them. I'll put a link in the description below after the live stream. We talked about the majority of your calls being, not your calls, the majority of your accidents being not bullet trauma. However, tactical guys and preppers kind of always seem to try to prep for bullet trauma. They're like, oh, this will help if you get shot. And it's kind of like, there's a lot more instances where you're going to have penetrating chest trauma and severe lacerations and things like that are not like combat or active shooter related. There's plenty of accidents I've run, plenty of trauma that I've seen. The majority of trauma I've seen is not gunshot related. It can happen in the most average everyday. They were just on their way to work and they slipped and fell. I ran a guy, he slipped and fell. He was holding a glass of water, walking, slipped and fell, and he went to catch himself with the glass he had in his right hand. When he hit, the glass shattered, sliced his ring finger where there's an artery in your ring finger. That's why you wear your wedding ring on your ring finger, in case you didn't know. And he had severe bleeding coming from his hand because he slipped and fell in his own house carrying a glass of water. And typically when you're walking around your house, just your PJs with holding a glass of water, you're not like, oh, a major trauma is going to happen to me today, but it can. All that to say, whenever we're talking about battle belts, think about where you're at. You're at a shooting range. If you're wearing something like this, typically, if you're a police officer, it's because you're at work and you're at an increased risk. Or you're LARPing at the range, or you're military or whatever. the odds of getting a traumatic injury due to a gunshot increase exponentially simply because you're around gunfire. Not only are you around gunfire, you're around people training to be more proficient with guns, meaning you're around people that aren't 100% proficient with guns, and there's bullets flying. Now, granted, if you're at a good range with a really good instructor and you're observing all gun safety rules, you can decrease, your chance of getting shot, almost to 0%. But it is nice to have it there, and also if you are having to break out your kit in case of an active shooter or something like that, you may not be using this on yourself. You maybe have to use it on other people. So, with all that being said, let's kind of dig into these kits. This one is mounted. We kind of touched on this in the other one. There's only really one way to skin a cat. While we're mentioning cats, cat tourniquets are like the golden standard. We've said that several times. Cat tourniquets are kind of the golden standard for tourniquets. A lot of these companies are going to be putting the same stuff in their kits because there is a proper way to treat trauma. There is better or worse brands. There's brands that are kind of more battle proven and tried and true, and everybody's going to use those. And we're no different. What you get whenever you go with one company or another company really is the innovation in their pouches and how well they're built. So let me go through mine first. So this is one that you can go on direarmory.com and buy. As you can see, I also pulled one from LTC. So this is Live the Creed. In my opinion, I know it sounds weird, like I'm shouting out like a competitor, but at the end of the day, I'm not a medkit company. I work with a medkit company, and I'm going to suggest you go buy his medkits all day, every day. LTC, though, is doing some really cool stuff, and the reason I like LTC, Live the Creed, is because they innovate, they make their own pouches, they have their own design pouches, and they're innovating on the pouch design itself. While I still feel like it has some flaws, which I'll point out, I think they do a really good job. So the first thing you want to consider when picking out your Battle Belt IFAK is the size of it. Ours is kind of a thick boy. People look at it and they're like, it sticks out just about as far as my holster, compared to something like the LTC you can see right there, is a lot drastically thinner. But it's because we carry so much in these kits. I pack almost double what a kit like this will have, and it's maybe like a third of the size higher. A big thing about being low profile and slim is, snag points, telegraphing where you are. Like if you're behind a really low piece of cover where you have to be like all the way against the ground, and you don't want something like sticking up off your back that much, maybe that could be a factor. Sitting in a vehicle with it against your back, everybody's like, well, now try sitting down with it. Sitting down with this, I really don't. You notice you have a belt on, obviously, but it's not drastically uncomfortable compared to this, surprisingly. I thought it's going to be uncomfortable, but I'd rather have a little bit more stuff than I need. But when I swapped these out and I put this on, I was like, it really doesn't feel much different at all. There's something back there. It's there for my survival and my safety. You're going to deal with a little discomfort no matter what. That goes for anything concealed carry, carrying medical trauma stuff like in your pockets, ankle kits. You're going to deal with a little bit of discomfort for that peace of mind knowing that you have something there. So I just kind of wanted to point that out, that ours is a little bit thick, but it does have more stuff in it. It mounts well. So the thing I want to talk about, first off, let me go ahead and get into what I don't like about most kits on the market. If you've never dealt with a traumatic injury or a high stress situation, one thing that you'll learn is, God forbid anything ever happens to you like that. A lot of your muscle memory your muscle memory takes over in a certain sense, but you resort to what they call gross muscle movement. It's different than like fine motor movement. So like your fine motor movement is going to be like your fingers twisting little things, like it's small and you have to kind of concentrate more. Gross muscle movement is going to be like grabbing something, like grabbing my pistol, pulling it, you know, grabbing this. They always teach you like change your mags, beer can grip, slapping. Nothing is like intricate, because in a high stress situation, the last thing you want to rely on is taking your focus off something and having to do something accurately in that sense, if that makes sense. The other thing I'm worried about, number two, is if there's some kind of trauma to my body, what's to say that that trauma isn't going to happen to my hand or both of my hands? If I am missing the top half of these three fingers and I'm having to try to squeeze this little clip to try to get it open to get to my medical stuff, to me that could be a problem. Now pair that with it's behind your back. Now pair that with the stress of the situation and what's going on. I don't like it. So actually Dye Armory is right now, we've come up with a good blueprint for a medical kit pouch that will replace this eventually. And it relies 100% on gross muscle movement as well as retention. This is very retentive. This is not going anywhere. No amount of pulling or blunt force trauma to this thing or ripping is going to pull this thing off. It's going to pull my whole body before it pulls anything else. That's a big deal to me. So we found a way to keep things very gross muscle movement related as well as keep the retention that you need for a battle system. So I'm going to go ahead and open this thing up. So again, it's got a clip system here. I know it's our own kit, but I'm not a fan of it. That's why we're going to change it. But so you've got your clip here. I'm going to move this. Just like that. And now you can open it up. Now the cool thing about ours, just as far as the pouch goes, is that it actually completely detaches from the belt via Velcro. Again, there's a lot of retention on this. And what I found is belts that use this, ours isn't the only one that does this. There's a lot of med kits out there for your battle belt that detach like this. This is a super cool feature because if I'm behind cover, somebody else is behind cover, something like that, I can toss it to them. On top of that, I've got it out in front of me. I'm not working from this. And I can open it up and it kind of can stay its own concealed unit. Confined is a better word, unit. The problem with something like the LTC is once you open it, you have everything exposed, and you did need to like throw it. This would still be attached on the belt itself. So you pull this out. A big problem is if you need to move, it's near impossible blindly and under stress to get this thing back in to move. The good thing about ours is that once it's out and it's open and you've got it, you can kind of just slap it on there, even unzipped, and run, like move again and keep it out of your way, and it's not going to go anywhere. That is one thing I like about ours. But again, you kind of saw how difficult it is for me to pull off all that Velcro. It's even harder when it's on your back. I've done it before. I try to like do it quickly and pull it out. It does take a little bit of extra movement. So there is kind of a sacrifice there with that, as opposed to this is super easy to get out. But after this is out, it's like putting toothpaste back in the tube. You're not going to be able to get it back in the tube. Therefore, you're left leaving it behind or juggling a bunch of stuff. And if you're having to drag a patient out of harm's way or whatever and juggle all your medical equipment, that's a problem. Also, too, I'd like to say that these should be supplemental. This should not be your only med kit. You should be using this to get to a bigger, better med kit or more resources as far as like personnel goes. If you're at the range, you're in one of those ranges that is set up with multiple bays, accident happens, or you hear an accident happen and you run over to it, your goal should be, okay, there's like bright red squirting blood coming out of his arm right here. I need to get a tourniquet, I need to do whatever. Get what you need, take care of that issue, now let's extract or go somewhere else, or, depending on the situation, if there's an immediate threat. If there's not an immediate threat, you should be trying to get to a bigger, better med kit. You should be trying to get more people involved. If you are, we're going to do more medical training, and some of that is leadership based on how to direct people. You can calm a situation by taking control very quickly and giving people very simple commands. If you give people a task to do, the situation could go so smoothly. All you have to do is snap, hey, you right there, whoever it is, direct pressure right here. Okay, easy. And now there's a task. They've got their mindset on something. In their head, they're helping. Nobody's freaking out, hopefully. You're good to go. But your ultimate goal of this type of med kit should be to get to your other med kit. You could go to frontlinemedicaldefense.com or diarmory.com. We sell our larger med kits. I used to have them hanging up here. I don't. They're actually over there. But there's larger ones that fit into your backpack that you should have on your range bag with triple the amount of equipment that you can use. And again, we're going to be doing lessons on how to use each bit of that equipment. So let's go ahead and break open this. So on the outside, obviously, you've got the tourniquet. You've got plenty of Velcro for all your cool patches. We've got our Diarmory logo patch here and just a bright red standard cross patch. That way, if you did have this attached, or you've got your backpack med kit and you're injured, and you tell somebody like, "Hey, go get my med kit," whenever they see this bright red cross, it's just going to scream medical to them. I see a lot of people not running any identifying marks that what they have, what's in that zippered pouch, is medical. The lay person that maybe isn't as tactically minded, you're just in Walmart and there was some type of something. They may not know like what your med kit looks like or what to get. So having a positive identifier on there of, hey, go grab my med kit, this is a very, very good sign of that's a med kit. Kind of a universal sign there. So cat tourniquet on the outside, ready to go. You just rip it out of the Velcro, you're good to go. You can see LTC kind of did the same thing on their pouch. And it's kind of disconnected from their main thing. I don't really see that being a problem. If you need a tourniquet, you need a tourniquet. You need a tourniquet. I do like the fact that ours is kind of all there in front of you. It's just kind of a thing. So I'm going to go ahead and make a couple disclaimers. I've added to our own kits because there's stuff in my kit that doesn't come with our kits normally. So the first one's being a Saline Flush. I just have this to either irrigate a small wound or to wash, something off, or if you get like foreign object in your eye or something, having just a small flush to just kind of like have that little access to some saline to wash out your eye or something. I mean, this could keep you in the fight potentially. If you get sand or something in your eye and you can't see and you're having to like fight that, being able to get to cover, maybe flush out your eye or something, could keep you in the fight, or it could just be a comfort, more of a comfort thing. If you go watch our other videos too, we talk a lot about what's comfort versus what's going to save your life right now. This is probably more of a comfort thing, but who knows? Could keep you in the fight. The next thing I have is this decompression needle. Some things changed with these, and honestly, I'm an advanced EMT. This is actually a paramedic level item. They used to just sell these. I know the law changed on these. These are not covered under the Good Samaritan law. If you don't know what the Good Samaritan law is, go check it out. It basically says like, hey, I went to go like help this guy and he ended up dying. Like the family can't sue you for like malpractice or whatever. If you're not, if I was like just roll up on a scene and try to help somebody and they died and they'd be like, hey, we're going to sue you. I can't do that. However, there are certain things that are not covered under the Good Samaritan law. This is one of them. If I feel like somebody's got a pneumothorax or hemothorax or something like that and I go start poking holes in their chest, I can be sued for that. It's an invasive procedure. This would be something that I would use maybe on myself if I felt like I was having a pneumothorax, which I've had before. I've been decompressed before. It's not fun. So this is also a 14 gauge. They've changed these to 10 gauge, so it's a little bit bigger of a needle. So I'm not sure if you can still buy these on the market or not. If you can, I would say carry one, but make sure you know how to use it and don't use it on anybody else, especially unless it's like, no, don't use it on anybody else. Learn how to use it, and if you feel like you're dying and you're with somebody and me and you are at the range training and I know how to use it, I've decompressed people in the field multiple times, and you're confident in that and you want somebody to use it on yourself or something, cool. I carry one. I can't in good conscience just recommend everybody go grab one and, oh, I think he's having a pneumo, and you don't know the signs of a pneumo and you haven't been trained on how to use it, could land you in prison. So be careful with these. This is probably the most advanced level thing that anybody carries in their IFAKs. A lot of them just come with them, and I'm like, that's risky. So I added this to our kit. This does not come in our kit. Just a heads up. I think these are the only two things. So one thing we carry, this is a lot of just trauma stuff that most IFAKs aren't really going to come with. So, let's break open the LTC one a little bit. This is a really basic kit and really small, but I just wanted to compare with something that I honestly think is a good option. I'm not saying, hey, LTC is trash, this is why you should buy ours. I'm saying this is a solid option, and their pouches are awesome. So if LTC is an option for you, go grab them, minus the flaws that I pointed out. Their stuff is basic, very, very basic, as it should be. Don't take me saying, hey, this is basic, don't buy it. I'm saying this is basic, and your IFAK kit should be almost as basic as possible, just because it's supplementary. So they basically have these items in here. You've got your tourniquet, you've got your combat wound packing gauze, you've got trauma shears and gloves, compression bandage, so you can kind of use it as, it's not technically an Israeli bandage, but you can hold pressure on a wound hands-free, which is important. The order of importance for dealing with a major traumatic bleed is direct pressure. If that doesn't work, tourniquet. So this is going to be your first stage, direct pressure, maybe some wound packing gauze and direct pressure or whatever you need. And then if that doesn't stop the bleeding, then maybe move to a tourniquet. Or if you're unsure, just put a tourniquet on it. They have an NPA. This is to establish an airway. This goes in your nose. Learn how to use these. There's contraindications to using these, meaning there are times you should not use these in terms of like a basilar skull fracture. There are signs to tell if somebody has a basilar skull fracture. That's going to be like somebody gets smacked in the forehead and then all of a sudden they have two black eyes. That's a problem. Somebody has bruising behind their ears, like right here. That's a problem. That could be a basilar skull fracture, and you don't want to shove this into somebody's face holes while they have a basilar skull fracture. So again, we'll get into all that, but this is more about what's actually in here. And then they have chest seals. So, obviously, if you can make holes, know how to plug holes, this can severely help somebody that's having a pneumothorax and help them breathe, and it basically stops the air from getting in to the chest cavity and can, prolong life for sure. We're going to get into how to use these, exactly how to use these. So that's the LTC kit. It's not much. I mean, this is it. It's like this little bundle of items and these three things, and that's it. That may be all you need, really. Tourniquet, major trauma, chest seals, boom. That's almost all of your bullet trauma taken care of, and that's great. And that can get you to a bigger kit. Ours is a little more extensive. So first off, everything comes in this thing like pretty secure. If this thing's flopping open or you need to move, close it up, grab it, go. Everything's individually wrapped so that if you're getting dunked in water out in the rain, nothing is really exposed. So again, trauma shears, looks like the same ones that LTC uses. Most of the med kits are going to come with these things. They're cheap, they do their work. You can buy Leatherman Raptors trauma shears if you want, and so you can cut through a quarter for whatever reason. This will work just fine though. For most of the clothes you're wearing, I've cut through leather motorcycle jackets with these cheap shears before. They work fine. So shears, that's a basic thing. A lot of IFAKs aren't coming with powdered granules for cell locks. This is a coagulant. You can pour this into an open, deep laceration or a bullet hole, something, and you could cause clotting, like help with clotting. It can stop bleeds. Most IFAKs, Battle Belt IFAKs, don't come with the actual granules, so that's kind of an addition. We've got gloves, just like the LTC kit, which is great. So we actually have these combat gauze. So the one that LTC comes with is from Trauma Pack. These are awesome. They have this blue line in them that helps with x-raying, so you can actually see it in an x-ray. So this is basically the same thing. This is they're both Quick Clot brand. We carry 2 in ours. So you're getting already there, you're getting double what you get in one of the smaller kits. These are pricey. So another weird thing about kits is when you start going to look up this stuff, like when you want granules, like Cell Locks is a tried and true brand. Quick Clot is like the name of the game when it comes to combat gauze with clotting agents in them. So to have 2 of these, they get expensive. And there's nothing that any medkit company can do. People are buying in bulk and stuff like that to get maybe like a 5 or 10% discount on this stuff. When you start adding things like this and cat tourniquets, those prices are pretty fixed. So the medkit companies are kind of at the disposal of the price of what's going on in the market currently. So you get 2 of these. They aren't cheap. They're like $30 a piece, and it is what it is. But there's plenty of gauze here to deal with multiple trauma problems that you might have. Next, we have our chest seals. 2 chest seals, entry, exit. This should be in every med kit. If you're buying a med kit and they're like, oh, it doesn't have chest seals, I would probably just stay away from the med kit. You can also buy extras of these. So I don't know, you should have chest seals. The next thing that we have, this is kind of an important one to me because it's the SWAT T tourniquet. If you go back and watch our other videos, we talk a little bit about it. But the reason I like the SWAT T tourniquet, even though it's not TCCC approved, and it's just a good tool. It's multi-use. So basically our protocols state that if you have a major trauma, you try direct pressure. If that doesn't work, you place a tourniquet. If that doesn't work, you place a secondary tourniquet. I really don't know of any med kit on the market where they give you 2 tourniquets. It's too expensive. They take up a lot of space, and they just don't do them. They're banking on you like putting on a tourniquet and realizing this isn't working, and by then hopefully you're at the hospital, the ambulance is there, or you're at your secondary med kit. The thing about the SWAT T is you have that tourniquet usage, but it's basically a really long rubber band that's like this thick. When we start getting into training, we're going to open these up and you can see what all this stuff looks like. I don't want to just start opening up all this med kits for every video because it gets expensive, and this is my personal stuff. So this you can place as a secondary tourniquet. So you have severe laceration or something here, you're bleeding, whatever, you put a tourniquet on high and tight, whatever, I just got to get out of my situation, I got to figure it out, whatever. You look down, it's still not bleeding, you try direct pressure, that's not working, okay, I'm losing blood fast, I need a secondary tourniquet. You open this bad boy up, you put on your secondary tourniquet, and there you go. So our kits come with 2 tourniquets, which is awesome. But unlike the cat is strictly a tourniquet. It's good for one person use. It's easy to put on yourself as opposed to like a rat's tourniquet or something like that. The cool thing about this is you can actually use this as another pressure dressing. So Israeli bandages are super thick and bulky, and they almost really only have one use, which is, just as a pressure dressing. So the reason why we have 2 of these combat gauzes paired with the SWAT T, if I've got bleeding controlled over here and there's something else that another deep laceration or cut or shrapnel or something, and I need just a pressure dressing, you can actually take out the combat gauze, put it over it, you've got your clotting agent in there. Now you open up your SWAT T tourniquet and you can wrap it, not tourniquet tight, but you can use it as another dressing. So with this, you almost get an Israeli bandage paired with this, or standalone, you have a secondary tourniquet. So there's multiple uses for this stuff. So that's kind of was my thought process behind like putting this thing together. Was I want things that are multi-use that can help in more than one situation. I would rather not have 2 cat tourniquets. I'd rather have something that can be used as something else as well, just in case. I'd rather have double of this stuff. I'd rather have the granules as well. So that was kind of the thought that went into building this kit. Again, I like LTC. I own LTC, even though I have my own stuff. I own LTC. It's good stuff. I just like the way our kit is laid out a little bit better. And again, you may find that for you, if you were to buy one of our kits or LTC kits, that you might want to add or take away something. These can be very specific, but compared to you, but you may have training that other people may not have. You may have the ability to decompress. You may have other needs that other people might not have. So just be thinking about what you do, what you want to use it for, and how we're going to how you're going to get to that end goal using your med kit. And that's basically it for Medic Monday. This is the first live stream that we've done. I'm not going to put that together now. This is really the first live stream that we've done. We want to do live streams every Monday. We want to do Medic Monday. We're talking about doing a more political-based kind of talk show. We're going to be bringing guests on. We're going to be reacting to traumatic YouTube videos and reviewing, TV shows, funny medical scenes and stuff like that. We're going to have a lot of fun with this show. I'm excited about it. This was more of a test. We literally just were like, hey, let's try a live stream today, and this is what we're doing. Still important information, still information I wanted to give out. But this is just the beginning for Medic Mondays. We are going to be doing in-person classes right here in the studio. You can come check this place out. You can come, see the Dyer Armory set in person. You can hang out with me and David from Frontline Medical and get some solid medical training, as well as get your own kits. We'll have YouTube videos out where you can go one by one and get each piece down to what, you know how to use it. A lot of people buy these kits and they stick it on their belt, and I don't know what they're thinking, like, oh, I guess I'll just figure it out when my arm's shot off. And it's like, cool, dude, good luck with that. But yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, tune in Mondays on the live stream. If you're sitting at work, put your headphones in, check it out. You might learn something. You might know everything, which would be awesome. If you do know everything, hit me up, because we could use you. But anyways, yeah, we had fun. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you next Monday.